Good morning. Thanks for tuning in to another daily conversation about situations in everyday life. So let's talk about it. So today, what I really wanted to talk about is something I think we all have an issue with facing, but it's the one thing that we all ask for the most. We all ask for the truth, right? But the question I want to pose today is, can we really handle the truth? Now, for me, I am very big on honesty. I'm very big on being truthful. I'm very big on expressing how you really feel about something. Now, do I always do it? No. Is it always something easy to do? No. Because sometimes the truth may hurt someone you love, so you kind of tiptoe around it a lot. Like, sometimes we have these huge elephants in the room where, we want to talk about something and we keep hinting in that direction so that we can try to bring up the conversation about the topic at hand, but only you are aware of this in your mind. The person you're talking to has no idea that you want to address the situation because you're tiptoeing around it. You're not really coming out and saying, hey, babe, or hey, sis, this is what I want to talk about. You're literally like trying to drop hints, trying to get them to kind of take the bait of what you're trying to push out. So are we really being honest, or are we trying to get what we feel or what we want to say out without even really addressing it? Like one of the things I always ask myself is, why do I keep living in the possibility of the reality, right? Instead of me realizing what is really happening, I'm always trying to, that's the optimist in me, I'm always trying to hold on to the possibility of something, right? My dad always taught us, you take one good and cover a multitude of evil, right? Because good is supposed to be that miraculous. And sometimes I don't want to take a good and cover it because I'm in my feelings. I'm being emotional. I want to be validated right now, right? But the reality is sometimes the possibility of what we can do versus the possibility of what we are doing becomes our truth, right? And we got to face it. We got to own it, right? It's not everything that we think we're doing. It's not everything that we think we're saying. And to challenge myself, I ask myself, what keeps me doing that? Do I really even believe in the possibility? Or am I just holding on to it for dear life because I want it so bad, right? I want togetherness so bad. I want friendship so bad. I want this relationship so bad. So I'm holding on for dear life when the red flags and the reality is right there in front of our face, right? What keeps us there? That's what I want to challenge us today. What keeps us there? Why do we allow ourselves to stay in a space of possibilities opposed to accepting the reality, right? Me and my fiance was having a discussion yesterday, and I came to a realization, and you would be like, how, you just figuring that out? And that's what I tell people, you don't realize that you are constantly growing every day. Who I was 2 years ago, I'm not that same girl today. Who I was 10 years ago, I'm not that same girl today. Who I was even 2 weeks ago, I'm not the same person today, right? That's how quickly you can evolve when you're in the state of growth, right? Because you're constantly trying to shed those bad habits, those bad thoughts, those things that make you stay into the characteristics of this person that you don't really want to be, right? You start to really want to choose to operate in the person you want to be. But the key to really doing that is you got to kind of own your shit. You got to face it. And the beauty is having someone in your life that challenges you with the truth. I don't want one thing where I always say, well, no, I know yes man around me. I don't want somebody around me that's just, yes, Miriam, you're right, you're right. No, tell me when I'm wrong. Because I know I'm not always right. There's no way I can always be right. Right? I need someone around me that loves me that much, that wants to see the best in me that much that they're willing to tell me the truth, even when it hurts. Right? That's when you have a true village that's at work for the betterment of you and your kids and your family and just your ultimate goal, right? Your village has to want to see that side of you, or they'll never tell you the truth. Even when they know that you popping, they gonna tell you that you're not. When they know that you're not, they gonna tell you that you popping so that they could keep you in that not state. Right? So you don't want that. You want people that truly want to see you win. They truly want to see you elevate to your highest potential. That's what you need to circulate around yourself on a daily basis. In me addressing the reality of where I am, addressing the reality of what I'm really facing, what I'm really dealing with, what I'm really encountering on a daily basis, right? It's like, how do you face it? How do you face it? If you're still in the traumatic state, right, where the trauma's already happened, and you have no idea that it's happened, you have no idea that you've inflicted this pain on somebody, or you're not even acknowledging that something occurred within you, right? How are you able to own it? You have to first acknowledge that it exists. You have to first acknowledge that there is something traumatic that took place. There is something that shifted my thoughts, something that shifted my mindset, something that shifted my ability to progress. Right? You got to first acknowledge that. And when you're able to acknowledge it, you have to then look at it and say, okay, how am I going to hold myself accountable of this? How am I going to hold myself accountable of not staying in this trauma, not sitting in it, not letting it continue to fester in my life, right? How do we do that? How do we find ourselves at a place where we can elevate out of that, right? Because the reality of it is, our truth sometimes is not the truth. Because a lot of times you may hear things so wrong. Like, someone can say this to you, like, you're acting stupid right now, right? But what you heard was that person telling you that you're stupid. How did you hear that? Why did you hear that? They're telling you that right now, in this moment, your actions are representing stupidity. Not that you're stupid, right? So why did we not hear that? Why did we hear it the other way around? You got to ask yourself that. Why am I not hearing things the way that they are, but I'm hearing them the way that I want to hear it? Am I hearing it in a way of a perception of what I feel about myself? Right? These are the things that we got to ask ourselves. Because at the end of the day, no one can really help you elevate out of something if you don't want to elevate out of it. Right? If you choose to continue to sit in something, there's no up for you. There's no way that you're going to find yourself out of there. Why? Because you're still sitting in that state where you're not even acknowledging that something has occurred. We're not acknowledging it. We're dismissing it. We're acting as if it doesn't exist. And that's why we're still stuck in that place. We're not paying attention to how we're creating these issues to continue to fester in our life. We're not paying attention to how we're contributing to these issues and allowing them to continue to fester in our life and have such a strong hold on us. Why? Because sometimes we're just sitting there and thinking that something is that's not. We're thinking that we're good. We're telling ourselves that we're good so that we can even just stay afloat. But the reality is you're not good. Own it. Own it. My finances is out of whack. Own it. My relationship is not where it's at. Own it. I don't feel 100% confident about myself. Own it. I don't feel like I'm being the best woman I can be or the best mother I can be. Own it. Because the minute you own it, you are now allowing yourself to finally accept the weight of what it is that you truly felt, why you're so insecure, why every time someone says something, you take it so personal. Because you're insecure about these things, because deep inside, you don't feel like you're doing the best. You don't feel like you're at your best. We are our own worst critic, and we don't even know that, and our thoughts allow us to know that. Because when they get to going, honey, they get to going, okay? Ain't no ignoring that voice in your head that's telling you that you ain't popping right now. There's no ignoring that. That shows up so strong in our actions when we are insecure, or when we're second guessing our abilities, or when we're just not feeling confident. It shows up. It shows up in our walk, in our talk, the way we look, the way we act. It shows up, right? So one of the things that I had to really accept is that it really does hurt to face the truth. Sometimes we just want to acknowledge our truth in the dark. But the beauty is when you can heal in the light, when you can face it in the light, when you can accept it, when you can go to that person and accept, own, you know what, I did do that and I apologize. Or you know what, I got to own the fact that I'm not emotionally stable right now. So instead of me constantly just giving you attitude or just treating you like crap, I'm going to really face my emotions and really face what it is that I'm dealing with inside so that I can show up better to you. I don't want to keep yelling at you every time you ask me a question. I don't want to be isolated. I don't want to keep myself away from just socializing or even just showing up. Why? Because I'm second guessing myself every minute, because I'm doubting myself every minute. No, we don't want to do that. We want to own our shit. We want to face our truth so that we can grow. Because you see, once you accept it, now the healing can start to happen. Because you're going to take ownership of what you did. You're going to now shift your thoughts. You're going to now step into action. You're going to now elevate and activate. You're going to now do the things that you need to do to make yourself get out of the possibilities of what you can do and get into the doing of what you can do. Let's get there. Let us all get there. Let's grow together. Let's make sure that we commit to growing every day. If you don't commit to anything else, at least commit to growing to the better version of yourself every day. Because the more you elevate, everyone around you, say for instance, you're a mom that's just been failing, or a dad that's just been failing at showing up for your kids or showing up for each other. Right? You're a daughter that just, you can't even connect with your moms because at the end of the day, you're so disappointed in her and you can't share it with her. You can't be honest. Or you're so embarrassed about how you've been showing up. You're like, I know you're ashamed of me, so I'd rather just go in isolation. We're not facing it, so we're not growing. We're stagnant. We're keeping ourselves at a place in our life that growth can never happen. So I'm challenging us all today to just face our truth. Own our truth. Don't run from it anymore. Yeah, I lost that job because I wasn't getting up on time to go to work. Yeah, I'm not making enough money because I'm really calling out every 5 seconds and I'm not going to work. Why? Why don't I want to do that? Do I not want to do this job? If you don't want to do the job, own it and find another one. But stop complaining, stop half-assing, and not being the best version of yourself. All because you don't want to be honest about what you're really feeling, what you're really dealing with, what you're really battling. Face it. Don't run from it. That is what we are no longer going to do because we are in the season of growth, okay? So let's all stay focused and let's all continue to be the best version of ourselves.